Hi, Karen. Hi, everybody. I am from World Trade Center Cyprus. I'm a board member of the association, and it's 9 p.m. in Cyprus.
Oh, kudos for joining us late. Thank you so much.
We have curfew from 9 to 5 in the morning.
Okay. And does Cyprus want to get involved with virtual trade missions?
Yes, absolutely.
Good. Jose.
Everybody, Jose Santoyo with World Trade Center Toronto, and yes, we do trade missions.
You do them well. That's why you're going to be speaking a lot today. Derek.
Hi, Derek Earl, World Trade Center Winnipeg. We want to do virtual trade missions. We're working on a first one, but definitely have this in the plan going forward. And if I could say one thing as well while I'm on here is that, so I've got a talk tomorrow to about 50 economists, and it's all about kind of the future of like Canada-US trade. So just putting out there, if there's any nuggets that come out of today's talk on Canada-US trade that I can share, I'm all ears.
Awesome. Happy to help share some stories with you. Lee.
Hey folks, Lee Smout, President, World Trade Center Toronto. Great to see everybody. Jose already answered for us. We do trade missions and now virtually as well, and looking forward to doing some more with some of you folks.
Good. I encourage you all to write these names down. If they do trade missions or want to do trade missions, write them down so that you can actually engage with them later. Sean.
Hi, yeah, Sean Meister with World Trade Center Halifax, Nova Scotia, Canada. And yes, we do trade missions in person when it was allowed and virtual now.
Awesome. Okay, Magdalena.
Hi, I'm from the regional office of Latin America. So we would like to promote the virtual trade missions.
What city are you with?
The regional.
The regional. Okay, fantastic. So you work with Carlos?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Perfect. Catherine.
Hello, everybody. My name is Catherine Sarisa, and I'm here at World Trade Center Denver as the Director of Business Development, and definitely looking forward to collaborating on trade missions virtually in the near future, and then getting to meet you all and shake your hands in the long term.
Fantastic. Carlos Ronderos.
Hello, I'm Carlos Ronderos. I am the Regional Director for Latin America. And some World Trade Centers in the region are really excited about learning more about virtual trade missions.
Great, thank you so much. Can I ask, if you're not speaking, that you put yourself on mute because we're getting some feedback. Chanel.
Hi, everyone. My name is Chanel Kasich. I'm the Communications Manager for the WTCA, and I'm looking forward to hearing you all discuss virtual trade missions and how we can promote it across our network.
Thank you. Thanks for all that you do. Iago.
Hello, everyone. For me, good afternoon. For you, I don't know. I'm from World Trade Center Curitiba and Joinville, Brazil. We are VP here with Karen. Josias is the VP, and currently we don't do missions, online missions. But I'm working in agenda with the Federation of Industry of the State to start online missions in this year. So maybe we can learn a lot with you guys, because we are going to start this maybe in the next few months.
Great. We hope we inspire you today.
Yeah.
Jameson.
Oh, good morning and good afternoon, everybody. I'm Jameson Shelton. I'm the Global Business Services Manager here at the World Trade Center Denver. And definitely interested in virtual trade missions and how we can continue to support.
Great. Josai.
Hello, sorry about that. Good afternoon, everyone. Greetings. I'm with the World Trade Center, Washington, D.C. We do trade missions actually with the U.S. Trade and Development Agency, and might be executing virtual trade missions. So we're very excited about this panel and really looking forward to learning from all of you.
Great. Thank you so much. Denise.
Sorry, my mouse was mousy. Denise Thomas, World Trade Center, Arkansas. We do both in-person and virtual trade missions and are willing to work with anybody who calls us.
Awesome. Good. Max.
World Trade Center, Atlanta, Max Sutherland. And yes, we do trade missions in person, and we are open to doing them virtually as well.
Perfect. Jesse.
Hi, everyone. I am Jessie Jenkins, the Director of Research and Trade Development for World Trade Center Savannah. Yes, we do in-person trade missions typically, but we are taking those online for now, and our first virtual trade mission will be in April.
Perfect. Martin.
Hello, I would be happy to get on an airplane, go on any trade mission just about anywhere right about now. But I've been an advocate of virtual trade missions for a long time, and I'm really glad to see this uptick and interest in our members. And I think it's something that will continue after the pandemic, and certainly as an introductory trade mission before we sell our members on getting on planes. So this is great stuff.
Great. Stella.
Hi, Karen. Sorry I was late. We just got off another event, actually. So my apologies for being a bit tardy. I'm with the World Trade Center St. Louis. And yes, we do in-person trade missions all the time. And so we're not all the time, but we're quite active in that space. And so we are hoping to do our first virtual trade mission later on this year. So we'll certainly be reaching out to many of you at that stage.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Graziella.
Hello, everyone. Well, we haven't really done any virtual trade missions ever, and we haven't done an in-person trade mission for a while. So I know that in conversations with Linda, we really are looking forward to jumping in again, and now's a great time to do it.
So you're with Philadelphia, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay, just want to make sure everybody knows that.
Yeah, and Karen, if I can just piggyback on that a little bit, if I may. Good afternoon, everyone. Let me put my gorgeous face on there. Not so gorgeous of late, I have to tell you, but Grazia is absolutely right. A number of years ago, we developed and conducted trade missions rather regularly, often in conjunction with universities and their business programs there. But of late, and it's been a matter of resources, we have really worked with the state of Pennsylvania, with the federal government in supporting their missions there. But I think it's time that we look back to doing more of our own trade missions. And I would like to put our toe back in the water, because we do have the skill set and certainly the interest, and to start with working with World Trade Center Association members on these virtual trade missions is something that we look forward to very, very much.
Great. Thank you so much. Josias.
Hello, hello. I'm Josias from south of Brazil, Curitiba, Joinville in Porto Alegre. Here we don't have real estate business yet, but we are in logistics business, venture capital, and M&A. And I can say that I miss you a lot to meet everybody in person and to talk to you, because one of the best things that Corona brought was this acceleration in virtual discussions, but nothing will replace our meetings and our conversations, because it's very rich. So we used to make a lot of missions in the past, but the virtual ones we are not so used to here in Brazil. So we need to learn how to do that.
Mhm.
and use this tool that I'm sure it will be very useful for World Trade Center.
Great. Thank you so much for co-chairing this committee too. Appreciate it very much. Tina.
Hello, everyone. I'm Tina Wyand with the World Trade Center Harrisburg. We have done in-person trade missions before, not recently though, and we've never done any virtual ones yet. Our state, as Linda said, is exploring one in Korea in I think 2 months. It's going to be our first attempt, but I would really like to do something as a World Trade Center with everybody here. So
Great. Perfect. Thank you. Melvin.
Hi. This is Melvin Torres for the World Trade Center in Arkansas. We do and will continue to do trade missions like Denise mentioned.
Perfect. Okay, let's see. Chris.
I'm from the World Trade Center of Greater Philadelphia. I think you've already heard quite a bit about us, so I'm just here to learn a little bit more upon the virtual trade missions
Great.
from you guys.
Thank you so much for being here. Scott Wong, nice to see your face. You're on mute, my friend. There you go.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. It's good to see everybody here. I think WTCs from my region, Asia Pacific, they're very much looking for trade mission opportunity. And at this point, especially the virtual trade mission is going to be the ones that we can do. So anything we can learn from this this conference is to be good. Thank you.
Perfect. Thanks, Scott. Virginia.
Good day, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here on behalf of my colleagues. Just wonderful to be here as well. And in terms of virtual delegation, I'm very happy to see our counterpart, Jose, from World Trade Center Toronto, and I'm as well from World Trade Center Vancouver. And it's been a real pleasure to actually, first of all, today I'm looking forward to learning as much as possible, but also want to give kudos to our counterparts in Toronto, whom was actually our very first virtual delegation back in September. And that model that we used then has been extremely, by far, the best model that we've used in all the virtual events we have done, not just provincially, but as well internationally. So if there was anybody that I could honestly say has done wonders for us, would have been World Trade Toronto for bringing that platform forward.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Jen.
Hi all, I'm Jen Scheidler, Strategic Planning and Operations Manager at WTC Baltimore. We currently don't do trade missions, but definitely interested in learning more and see any potential to get involved.
Terrific. Thank you. John.
Hi, everyone. John Cipher with the Greater Houston Partnership, World Trade Center Houston. We do a lot of trade missions physically, and now we've switched over virtually last year. Usually they are with the city of Houston and they're led by the mayor. But we're looking forward to hearing more about maybe participating with something with WTC.
Perfect. Great. Okay. Karen.
Hi, I'm Karen Moore. I'm the Marketing and Member Engagement Manager, and I work with Karen and Jameson and Catherine. And we've been doing trade missions. I think we're our first virtual one we are working on right now. So I'm here just to be a fly on the wall and to see what others are doing.
Perfect. Jesse.
Is there another Jesse?
Nope, you're it.
Okay. I already went, but
You did. I'm
Trade
sorry. My
Savannah.
bad. My bad. I'm just looking through my screen
You're
keeps
good.
changing, so I apologize. I think I've caught everyone except for Robin, which I wanted to give him time to have the floor and talk about his willingness to support this initiative of virtual trade missions and anything else you'd like to share.
Yeah, thank you, Karen, and good to see everyone. I got a little used that in the Zoom meetings when we do conferences and webinars, when my face shows up, it's sort of time to go to the next session. So, but look, I think great feedback from everyone on the virtual trade missions. I think this is a very important and valuable product. That's how I see it for the association, and I want to thank Karen and Josias and everyone in the Trade Services Max to bringing this together. I think this is definitely a product that, as an association, we can promote. And just also for everyone's information, we have been rolling out and testing a new member onboarding program, in which the option of a virtual trade mission is part of, and with great interest from recent members that have recently joined us. So I'm very excited about the work that you're doing here. Again, great potential, and from my perspective, we have all my support to make this happen. Thank you, Karen.
Thank you, Robin. Okay, so let's get into the business at hand. We have one item on the agenda, and that is virtual trade missions. I promised you on our last meeting that we would talk about this because there was last meeting, just to recap for those that missed it, we talked about this manual of trade services that it's almost an operations manual if you're running a franchise. For our real estate World Trade Centers, or those that aren't doing trade services now, what can we do to inspire them to offer trade services? Because that's that programmatic arm that makes our organization unique as a community. And so we spent the entire meeting almost about that trade manual, which is making some progress. We're hiring an editor. We are getting it into one voice. We're going to create a version 1.0 of this service manual, knowing that we're not going to be totally inclusive and that people are going to want to feature their particular service in that manual. So hopefully 2.0 will be more inclusive. But really our goal is to get a start on it and to post that as a resource for all World Trade Centers that haven't even started yet, or those that have been around for years and just haven't offered services. We also, one of Robin's initiatives is to create an outsourced trade service model where those that don't have trade services or the capacity to offer trade services could outsource to one of us that do offer trade services. So this is something that we're kind of cornering as a marketplace of trade services. This is another initiative of this committee that we have not yet moved forward, but I do see that as something that we could do in the coming year to move toward a marketplace of trade services where those of us who specialize in trade services could offer those services to other World Trade Centers and their clients. But today is this initiative that we've heard Toronto does a fantastic job of it. EJ in Leeuwarden does a very good job of virtual trade missions as well. And during the pandemic, it's absolutely a service that we should be offering, and we should be offering it even regardless whether we have a pandemic or not. So this is something that our whole organization is founded on, is that we provide connections. We know people who know people. We've all heard that, right? So these virtual trade missions actually show our expertise to our clientele. So I will have Jose say a few words, and Lee, if you'd like. But what we did do this past month is we had a smaller meeting with Jose and EJ, and they both shared their various models of offering a virtual trade mission. And I tried to listen very carefully and capture their models onto one page. It's almost a template, if you will, for how to offer these virtual trade missions. And I'd like to show that now. Crystal, I don't know if you want to pull it up or shall I? Oh, you're so good. You're way ahead of me. So maybe if you can make that a little bigger for those of us that have glasses. So this one pager talks about, and you've all received this in your email too. So it talks about various aspects of these trade missions, and where you have two boxes side by side, those are the two options. Example one might be Toronto. Example two might be how the Europeans do it. I wanted to create some flexibility and a template for each World Trade Center to be able to offer these services, but I am trying to standardize a service so that our clientele can start to realize when a World Trade Center virtual trade mission is occurring, they're going to experience this type of quality. And so that's why we captured it on one page here and on just one type of model. So with that, I'd like to have Jose walk us through maybe the various larger categories here. And also, if you want to talk about your operations and how you run virtual trade missions from Toronto. And then I'd like for you to share a story of a success so that we can hear how companies are getting support through this. So Jose, would you take it over?
Yeah, sure. Thank you very much, Karen. I think that, well, a lot has happened since we went into the pandemic, and the way that we do trade missions. First, we thought that going virtual was just going to be a solution in the meantime while things get back to normal. But the reality is that we're seeing the virtual trade missions are here to stay, and that a hybrid offer should remain there always. It's just easier for companies to attend from a discovery perspective and to make some connections and to start analyzing if a market is good or not for them. And it's just in general easier for them to open up some time to explore new ideas that in other case would be very difficult to see. So the demand is growing and growing, at least on our end, for companies trying to attend this kind of virtual missions. Now, with the document that you're putting there, Karen, I think that the most important part there is to make sure that there are three steps and three pillars into building the trade missions, at least the way that we have been doing it. And when we have the discussion with other World Trade Centers, I think that we all have we're all coming from the same place, which is there is first a research and an compatibility that you have to run before. It is very important that for that we have close relationships with other World Trade Centers, but that there's also information available that we can study without the need of bothering you. Something that the association can have where we can go and analyze that. Once you have that, it is important that you as well touch base with your local organizations from the public sector as well as the non-for-profits and explore if you're going to have a successful recruitment process. Recruiting, I think, is the most difficult part of this job. It seems like it makes sense to, I don't know, it makes sense to activate, a country like China selling consumer goods because it's huge, but are you going to be able to recruit the companies? Not that they're interested in going, but how are you going to recruit them, understanding that they are trade ready and that when you establish those connections, they can actually do something with them. Once that's done, then it comes a part of the planning of the mission and executing the mission. And the model that we have found to be very successful is to divide that in three different pillars. One is education, in which we generate some sort of a online seminar, like a webinar, with in-market consultants and with local governments, local associations, but also from our end as well. I'm pretty sure that each of your governments has someone specialized on certain regions and exporting to certain regions of the world, and educate the companies on what to expect in these markets, what the opportunity looks like. And I think that the secret there is to be very sectorial focused to make sure that that's profitable for everyone. When you open it too much, then it just becomes a little bit more complicated. After that, we always do what we call a consulting side of things. So we invite lawyers that are specialized in that specific region and sector, financial institutions and accountants. They come in and they say, if you really want to trade here, this is how it's going to look like for you. If you sell this kind of products or this kind of solutions, and that's why it's important to be very sectorialized. These are the challenges that you're going to find. This is how you can solve them. And this is how we can help you to do that. So the consulting piece opens you an opportunity as well to fund the program, because it becomes a business development tool for whoever you're bringing into the conversation. And finally, we have an activation piece, which is organizing a very robust B2B program. That B2B program can be run either by a consultant if you have the funds and you want to put it in the hands of someone else, or it can be run by your own team if you have enough hands and time, or if the delegation is limited in size, and that is possible. Those B2B meetings are scheduled online. They don't have to be the day of the event. That's the great flexibility of this. They can be throughout that week or the week after, whenever is convenient for anyone. These conversations start those relationships. We know that in virtual trade missions, it's difficult to get things done just in one call. We're opening that avenue and being present as the person who's taking them there to that meeting will definitely open options forward. Karen was talking about sharing a story. So we have done so many. I was discussing with my boss. I was discussing with Lee that just since September to now, we have run several trade missions with around 120 companies and almost 500 B2B meetings since then. For us, I think that in terms of sharing a story, I can share, for example, a story of an e-commerce trade mission that we did to Latin America, especially to Mexico in December. And the reason why I'm taking this one is just not because we had one partner, because it was the first time that we had several partners, and we actually saw the positive consequences of running these things into other local organizations and the way that they jump into our project to support us. We took 26 companies from Canada on an e-commerce and retail trade mission to Mexico. This was all consumer good companies. We educate them not only on Mexico as a country, but in certain states where we believed they had more chances to activate their products. So certain regions. They had presentations by all the e-commerce platforms in Mexico, not only those that we know like Amazon or Linio, they're very basic ones, but also some of the local retailers that have their own platforms as well as virtual shelves. They discussed with them, they had a lot of conversations with importers and distributors. They had a lot of conversations with local accountants and local lawyers that have been able to put them in touch. From those 26 companies, as of right now, we're very happy that 2 of them are already in the shelves down there, and that the majority of the delegation keeps working on it. Our partners are happy because they got a chance to as well get some clients and potential clients from this delegation. And we're very happy because we got the attention of the federal government of Canada and also the attention of the province of Ontario, which made those partners that are usually our partners as a whole in an organization to go in and do this with us in a very robust way, but also to consider the possibility of keep funding things of this nature. So I'll say that that's a success story. That's a robust mission. But on the same line, we have had wonderful experiences, for example, with Vancouver that Virginia was saying, where we just did a food and beverage interprovincial trade mission with 5 companies each. And we ran that project in a matter of a couple of days. Each company had 5 B2B meetings with distributors and local importers. I know it sounds weird, but in Canada, if it's in a different province, sometimes it's more difficult than to trade with the US. It was very easy to deal with. Of course, nothing is going to change the fact of jumping into a plane, and we hope eventually we're going to do that. But when you're trying to recruit people to jump into a plane, you can send an email to 1,000 people and get 5 to say yes. Once you have a pool of companies that have been part of a couple of virtual trade missions and they feel comfortable going to a place, it's going to be very easy to make them jump into a plane and close deals. So this is a great first step, and this is something that I don't think is going to go anywhere. And I'm going to shut up because I know that I talk too much, and my boss always complains about it.
No, you don't talk too much at all. It's exactly what we needed. Thank you, Jose, and thanks for sharing all of your best practices. I do want to ask a question about business models. So you've had great support from your Canadian government to sponsor this, but if you were to charge companies to participate, which I think we all are going to need to at some point, I've provided here 2 types of business models you can consider. But there's probably 1,000. So maybe just share some of what you've used and why. on your business model?
Yeah, on our business model, basically what we do is we establish a cost per delegate, right? So we go back there and we say, what is our overhead? What is the amount of hours that we're going to use for this? What other assets that we need? We establish a cost per delegate, an objective into how many companies we want to take into this mission. Once we have that, we try to divide that in who are we going to charge this to? So for example, you have a model in where you say from this $1,500 or $1,500 that each company is costing me to activate. I'm going to sell to the law firm that I'm inviting to talk with all of them, $500 per company. I'm going to charge another $500 to maybe my economic law development office from my municipal government, if you have an option, and then another $500 to the companies. If things are simple, you can just pass it to the companies directly, and it's not complicated. If it's $1,000, $1,200, it's not complicated. If you want to do something bigger and more robust, where your cost per company is going to go to $4,000, that's when you start looking for sponsors, because it's going to be difficult for the companies pay those $4,000 or $5,000. But definitely, we have seen companies pay up to $3,500 when we have done things. In the virtual space, we have seen companies pay up to $850 that we charge for a smart cities trade mission that we took to Barcelona in November. So that's a little bit how we see it.
Great. Thank you so much. So this can be a lucrative model. Just to share what EJ does, he charges a base fee of about 200 to 250 euro for the first day to get all of the education and the opportunities and the overview of the market. And then he charges a fee per B2B meeting so that it incentivizes those successful matches for B2B meetings. And it also, if a company is hard to match, they wouldn't have to pay extra for something that maybe was a tough match. So that's another way to tackle this business model. So I wanted to share those two examples. And also, EJ does not necessarily do a sector-specific trade mission like Jose is proposing. He actually does an all call to his clientele to see who wants to go to these to this market. So anyway, wanted to share that there's a few nuances depending on where you're coming from and how you'd like to approach this. But I tried to present a couple of options where I saw there were two clear options there. So let me open it up for questions or for comments about those who have conducted virtual trade missions. Let's just focus on virtual trade missions right now. And anybody who'd like to share some best practices or lessons learned.
Perhaps I could share, something that I've learned since the start of our virtual delegation. And one of the things that we found to be very helpful is that when you do pick the model of the B2B, and of course you will have the first day, however you do the market overview and when you want to do the B2B, what's important to consider is when you have picked a sector and the speakers, it's always hard, as Jose was mentioning, that it's always harder to get those B2B meetings connections. So that's the really hard part. So what you want to do is when you are picking the speakers is that you might want to have a conversation with them right from the very beginning, that they could also be part of the B2B meetings. That allows you to basically have the 4, 5, or 6 speakers already lined up to be the B2B connections. And that we found to be very helpful. And yes, I thought I'd share that because that was very helpful on our end to understand that.
That's a great addition. Thank you so much. Anybody else have something that you'd like to share? Okay, who would like to share something from a physical trade mission that worked well for you that you could apply virtually?
Actually, I will jump in with something on the virtual there. Sorry to take a second to jump in.
Okay.
I do think the sector versus general is going to definitely be by a market situation for us in Nova Scotia. I'd say virtually sector specific makes it more targeted and more effective for everyone. That's definitely something that we've found. The sort of multi-sector sort of market entry that we've done with in-person, it's a model that we have done in person where we'll just do multi-sector, bring people into a market and sort of customize it. I don't think it works very well for virtual for us. The other side of it that I would recommend is really taking the time to gauge the comfort level of your participant companies in virtual business development. How comfortable are they in terms of, and making sure that you provide the support and training to those companies so that they're going to be successful going into it, because you can see a company that excels face-to-face in business development and struggles on the virtual side of things. So just making sure you're really tuned in with your companies that are coming with you to make sure you really truly understand their comfort level and their concerns and tailor your support to them based on that.
Good additions. Thank you, Sean. Anybody else like to share any best practices, lessons learned, nuggets of wisdom?
Karen, can I just tell you what we are doing in Cyprus?
Sure.
We tried Zoom and we tried Microsoft twice, and to be honest with you, we didn't find them to be very effective for the trade missions or even the B2B meetings. And we have decided that to vaccinate 5.5 billion people is going to take a long time. And therefore, we are investing and looking at platforms, specific platforms for virtual meetings designed for B2B, as well as online exhibitions, so that we buy these platforms and then go to the market, advertise, using the WTC network as a base for trade missions and also exhibition and conferences.
Great. I look forward to seeing those, participating on one of them.
Yeah.
Karen, I can.
Very expensive.
Yeah. Lee, go ahead. Thank you,
Yeah,
Mary.
I'll just add a thought to Maran's suggestion there. This would not be suitable for, I'm not suggesting it's useful around the world either, but it would not be suitable for exhibitions. But we do use a platform called Canvas, and it is an educational platform used by universities and colleges in Canada. I'm not sure if it's more broad than that, but I do know that we use it here. And it was designed for that. And so it has some limitations in a sense, because there's some things like naming criteria. It talks about classrooms and things like that, which we would love to call something else, workshops or whatever. But it works really, really well with putting content in it and making that available to everybody, registering everybody through one system, kind of having them for one place they go to get in touch with anything that's going on. So when you have a partner that has a presentation or some additional information or whatever, you can drop it all in there. And when somebody's registered as a participant in trade mission, they can go in and find all those things afterwards. We record all of the, I think, all of the education sessions. So for some reason you have to miss that morning, we only do this, I think Jose mentioned, but we do this in half days because nobody has the patience to be on Zoom or anything else all day. So we stick to half days, but if you happen to miss a half day because that doesn't fit your schedule, you can come back and review it. And the other thing is we're able to link it into Zoom. It also has its own system whereby you can broadcast and engage people in workshops online and so on. So we run two different programs with it aside from this market activation work. One of them, our TAP program, is run on it across Canada, a trade accelerator. And the other is we have a new recovery activation program. So in the case of TAP, they use Zoom and then they use the platform. In the case of the other program, we just use the platform, including for the broadcasts. So anyway, I just thought I'd mention it because there are some great things out there. We were looking at building our own because we wanted that naming conventions and so on that I was talking about to be right, and also because we didn't really want to pay somebody else a license fee for everybody on it and what have you. But at the end of the day, when we looked at the cost of doing it, it's almost just prohibitive unless you've got really deep pockets. So anyway, just thought I'd mention Canvas.
Great.
Thank you, Lee. I will get my colleague Anthony to contact you.
Pleasure.
For the details. But our research so far have indicated the best markets, best developers at the moment are in India.
Yeah, indeed.
That's great.
Unbelievable amount of products available for this type of platform.
Terrific. Any other best practices that people would like to share? And then I'm going to shift to those who don't offer trade missions. But I want to give any last chance to those who are offering virtual trade missions to share any best practices.
Karen, again, can I just say that what we found to be extremely useful in this time of not traveling and restrictions is cooperating with the Chamber of Commerce and the various trade associations like, Cyprus, China, Cyprus, US. Great source of feeders for this type of activity, particularly now.
That's important. Absolutely. I hope that we're all connected with our communities in that way, creating an ecosystem. We take the niche of international business, whereas the rest are our feeder network. So good point. Let me shift to those who don't offer trade missions, but maybe want to. Do you think this type of operational model, as well as some examples of applications for companies, examples for flyers or promotional materials, examples of B2B meetings or agendas that we can post on the WTCA resource page, do you think this is enough and helpful for you to start virtual trade missions?
I can talk about myself, but for me, for sure, will be like very, very helpful because we are thinking to start this year. So this kind of material are going to help like a lot here for us in Brazil.
Fantastic. Great. As I do want to create some samples for people to get inspiration from. Derek.
Yeah.
Thank you, Hiago.
Hi, thanks. Just a question to kind of put out to those offering. As I mentioned, we're currently working on one, and it's definitely in our plans to be ramping up to do more and working on some strategic planning around this. But we've also got quite a number of new members on our team, and starting to work on virtual trade missions will be fairly new to a lot of our members as well. Just putting out the question to those actively doing them, and wondering what the possibilities are for like an observer type of status on a mission to sit in on the trade side, to kind of see the program, not necessarily the B2B meetings, we can see how those are scheduled, but the education part of it might be helpful to see someone, when you actually see a program delivered, it can make it kind of tangible and introduce it to our team in terms of what they would be expected to organize.
I love that shadowing. Jose, would you guys be open to that? I heard a yes. Okay, what about others who are offering it?
Ask Lee, I cannot make that call.
We would be happy to shadow because we also have a new VP Trade Services chair.
Okay.
We are very open to all of these kinds of collaborations. So we've had people come and visit with us for TAP and so on. We're very happy to have you do that for Mission. I think it's a great idea.
Perfect. I'd like to also suggest maybe we do a recorded webinar of Jose talking about how to set one up, so that we can keep that recording along with this written model and the samples. And that way we have this whole sort of workshop package for anybody who wants to do this. We want to make it as easy as possible. And we also want to have a listing of all of the World Trade Centers that are open to do these. Matter of fact, I'd love to see it on our location pages on the WTCA site, that we actually have an icon that says we are virtual trade mission providers. And that way we can start to identify who to partner with across the world. And maybe you need to host one or two of them, or conduct one or two of them, take companies elsewhere before you earn that badge. Something like that. It's a gamification, if you will, of making this more of an incentive for us to offer this collectively as a whole. What do you guys think of that?
I definitely think that there should be some sort of badge or something, just to make sure that we have somewhere to look for this. I had a conversation with Cristal, well, I sent her an email this morning or yesterday about because we're doing something in Florida in a couple of weeks. And there's some World Trade Centers that we already have a relationship with, right? But we know that there's some others. So I was just asking, like, who else offers this? Who else can we contact there, right? And it's not like we have a place to go and identify that quickly. Plus as well the directory on who to go directly communicate with, right? Because I think that also, if you offer trade services, I'm pretty sure that each team has a person that is responsible for that. And that will just save time. Sometimes I think that one of the issues that we have with trade missions is that no one wants to plan from now until 4 months. And we plan from now on 2 months, we want to execute a trade mission.
Mm-hmm.
And then we start recruiting, and then it's suddenly 6 weeks, and then we realize it's only 6 weeks, and you need to move fast, and everything is,
Mm-hmm.
is quick and drama, and we cannot be waiting for, oh, let me contact Karen, and Karen replies back, and then I send you back another, and then you put me in touch with
Mm-hmm.
whoever's in charge.
Mm-hmm.
So just jumping those steps will make it way easier.
Nice. Let me ask one other question. What's going to make the World Trade Center's virtual trade missions unique and different from maybe a government entity or any other chamber out there? What's going to make ours unique and special?
I think it's our international capillarity on networking, comparing to other institutions. We are much bigger in theory. We need to go, I don't know, to achieve that, right? But for sure is one of the biggest good points.
I was about to share the same opinion because the federation, the Industrial Federation here of the state of Paraná, asked for us like WTC, because we have like more than 300 cities, so we can find more companies to enjoy the virtual trades than they could. So I think that for us, that is the most valuable thing that we have here.
I just add something. Robin, I was talking to Robin yesterday. He's talking about the idea that we're kind of within the World Trade Centers Association, us as World Trade Centers is that sort of first level. But when you go deeper into the levels, that's where you connect. So we have 11,500 businesses in our membership. And if you add that up, whatever you all folks have all around the world, those are opportunities we create. But more generally, even not getting too specific about that, the thing government doesn't do that we do is they're not integrated to the business community like we are. So we bring that connection to business that governments just don't have in the same way. And I think it's more valuable than anybody realizes, that because when we do trade missions, we don't mind hearing a little bit from some government people, but what we really want to hear about is how do you work in that market? How do you have to set up your business so that you can ensure that you minimize your tax obligations there and maximize the return of funds to your home office, what have you. And so there's all sorts of details like that it's not a government area, but all of the people in our networks, that's the kind of thing they can provide.
Yeah, Karen, this is Linda Conlon. I would just follow up on what Lee has said. And having worked and been very proud of my government service for a number of years, I think that is really one of the principal distinctions, not only the powerful worldwide network that we can tap into, but it's the fact that we know the businesses in our area. and we can make those recommendations to others wanting to do business in our region or wanting to connect with similar businesses of our fellow World Trade Centers. It's that business knowledge and connection that we have, I think, that makes us very special.
Yeah, and I'll add that we've been doing some one-on-one advising with Department of Commerce out here. And World Trade Centers, because we're not government, we can do and say certain things that they can't. And so I say that it's kind of some of that last mile help to actually get the person connected and going in country. And so that's a phrasing that we've been starting to adopt into our languages, that now we can help you go the last mile and really figure out the details to get up and running.
Karen, this is Denise. I think the secret sauce for the World Trade Centers as a whole is us as individuals. Throughout the travels and working with all the different organizations, we are an amazing group of people. And that passion that we bring to the table really resonates with the clients, and it resonates with the other organizations with their membership. And I think that's something that's very powerful. And the ability that we have to connect not only with one another, but with individuals collectively really helps move the needle. And that's something that most government people don't have. We're here really because we want to be here, and it's important for us. It is our passion. And that to me is the number one reason. That's the secret sauce.
Wonderful. Great. I love this. Chanel, I hope you're taking great notes, because these are all value props that we need to put on our website as to why you'd want to join a World Trade Centers Association sponsored trade mission.
Maybe Karen, if I could also add to everybody's great points. One thing that we've also learned through the process here in the last little bit is just trying to, because there's so many options out there, and who do we connect with over the other? There's just so many options. And so one thing that we've found was very helpful on our end as well was to actually, if you don't have, if your government is not as helpful as they have been in the past, I think one thing that we have found is that reaching out to them again during this time and letting them know that the approach that we did was basically, what are you doing right now in terms of your trade and investment, those opportunities that you are doing internally, and how can we, through your vision, be able to execute that on our end? So it's really about not necessarily reinventing the wheel on our end, but complementing what they are doing at the moment to allow them to have the opportunity and see us as a partner, and not so much as other than a partner to them, really. So what we've done is approached the province of BC, told them obviously about what we're doing, our goals, and asked them, what are you doing right now? Who are your target markets? What is your vision? And can we, through your vision, be able to connect with those World Trade Center associations that are in that market? And based on that, we've had nothing but open arms and opportunities that we couldn't have imagined on our own, because now we are symbiotically doing something that they're doing, and we're just sort of being part of the answer. So we're doing it as a group, and that's something that we found really helpful, and it took us like a few tries.
Thank you so much.
It's working.
Appreciate that. Well, we're coming to the end of our meeting, but I wanted to just share that the World Trade Center Denver, who is well represented today, thank you team for coming. We are taking our virtual trade mission to Bien Dung in Vietnam, which is a pretty new World Trade Center. So pretty excited to feature that. We are going to be recruiting companies from the outdoor apparel industry, which we're very strong in Colorado, looking for manufacturing options or partnerships in Vietnam. So I think it's a good first mission for us on a virtual platform. We've led several of them in person, but this will be our first virtual one. And we've learned a lot from all of you. And Jose, thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us. I want to capture more of it to make people feel comfortable with offering these. And I hope we can have a landing page or some featured page on the resources at the WTCA for virtual trade mission testimonials, results, examples, sample documents, templates that you can all use and modify for your own purposes. But if we're going to be able to offer this universally across our network, we need to standardize some things. And we also need to play to our strengths, play to our value props. So if you're pulling stories or results, I want you to play to the value props that you heard from today so that we can carry that out and have proof points of why we are as good as we say we are. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Crystal to take us out and see if there's anything else that you want to share about upcoming meetings or next Macs, etc. So thank you all for your participation today.
Great, thanks, Karen. Thanks, everyone. No, very quickly, we have a real estate MAC meeting tomorrow. So anyone that wants to join that, you're more than welcome. Just email me. And then we have the GA coming up April 27th to 29th. Robin, did you want to add anything to those two? Very quick.
Well, about the GA, we will send out a communication in the next few days with more detail. It's coming together very nicely. Now, I would just want to say that it was alluded to here. We're, as an organization, as an association, sitting in an enormous treasure. And we haven't been able to unlock that. And that treasure is really what I like to call the second layer of contacts. The first layer is all of you, the members. And many of you know each other, you know how to find each other. But that second layer is really the customers, the clients of our World Trade Centers. So if we can find an effective way to facilitate connections for that second layer, it's a massive amount of opportunities. So just try to imagine that for organizing a trade mission, a virtual trade mission, that the pool of companies that you could reach out to is every single client that all of you work with. So what we will test and run with the GA, and more information to come, is a matchmaking tool, a platform that's driven by an algorithm, by artificial intelligence, to see if we bring all these people from all over the world together, because the question really is, in a virtual environment, how can we effectively bring people together if we have hundreds and thousands of people, businesses looking to find contacts? So we're working on this. And I really hope that over time this year, we can find the right formula to unlock the value of better integrating that second layer in our global community. And I like to call it a community more than a network, because it's a very different thing. So the trade mission concept, the virtual component of that is a great product. And I agree with you, Karen, that some standardization will help. And at the end of the day, what the purpose of the marketplace is, that anyone who wants to use a product, a trade services, whether it's a training or a virtual trade mission, has several options to choose from and finds whatever the best match is for that particular project. So I think these are really very valuable initiatives, and I'm glad that everybody is here so involved in this MAC as well. So thank you for your time, and I'm sure we see each other, a lot of us, in the other MAC meetings coming up later this week and next week. So thank you, Karen.
Thank you all very much. Appreciate you being here, and be safe, be well, and look forward to seeing you soon.